How's it going? Dave here, and in today's video I'm going to be talking all about the 6/9 sharp 11 chord. It's a really awesome chord, so let's get straight into it. Let's take a look at the intervals of the chord before we do anything else. So the chord is built on a root, 3rd, 5th, 6th, 9th and a sharp 11th. So if we were to take a C 6/9 sharp 11 chord, we'd have the notes C, E, G, A, D and F sharp. And you may notice that it's actually basically what we're doing is we're playing a C chord and a D chord together in one chord. It's a D chord over a C chord. Now let's take a look at how we can play the chord on the guitar. I'm going to show you root on the 6th string and root on the 5th string. In both shapes we are omitting the 5th of the chord. It's not really necessary to get the sound of the chord, and it'd be hard to get the fingering on the guitar. So the first fingering looks like this. What we're going to do is we're going to play with the root at the 5th fret, so we're going to be playing an A 6/9 sharp 11 chord. Our middle finger is going to be playing the 5th fret of the low E string. We're going to be barring the 4th fret of the A, D, G and B strings with our index finger, and our ring finger is going to play the 5th fret of the high E string, and it looks like this. It's a bit of a tricky one to get every single note ringing out in this particular shape, but that is how it looks. Then if we were to play on the 5th fret of the A string, we're going to get a D 6/9 sharp 11 chord. It looks like this. We're going to play middle finger on the A string at the 5th fret, then we're going to bar the 4th fret again with our index finger. This time our ring finger goes on the 5th fret of the B string, okay? So the 4th fret of the high E string is ringing out. And it sounds like this. And I don't know if you've noticed, but that had a very Lydian sound to it, of course, because of the sharp 11. The sharp 11 or sharp 4th being the characteristic note of Lydian. And Lydian is the 4th mode built on the 4th chord of the major scale. So that's the first use of this chord. We can use it as chord number 4 in our key. So if I was to take the key of A and make a basic chord progression in A, a 1, 6, 4, 5, so A, 6 being F sharp minor, 4 being D major, and then the 5 being E major. For a 4 chord, D major, I'm going to play a D 6/9 sharp 11. And then I'm going to spice the rest of the chords up a little bit. So I'm going to play an A major 7, I'm going to play an F minor 9, and I'm going to play an E 7 as well. So let's take a listen to how that sounds. There we have it. So we can use it as chord number 4 in our key, but that is not the only way we can use this chord, and it gets really spicy going on forwards here. So pay attention, because it's going to take a little bit of concentration. So let's analyze the notes of a C 6/9 sharp 11 chord. We said it has the notes C, E, G, A, D and F sharp. Can you figure out what other chord has those exact same notes? Well, I'll tell you, it is the D11 chord. So the D11 chord is D, F sharp, A, C, E and G. So it's the same notes, just in a different order. So that means if we are playing a C 6/9 sharp 11 chord, we're also technically playing a D11 chord, which is where things get quite cool, because a D11 chord is a dominant chord, meaning we can use it as our 5 chord or as a secondary dominant, creating a 5-to-1 resolution. If you don't know what secondary dominants are, you might not understand the rest of the video, so go check out my video on secondary dominants. If we were playing a C 6/9 sharp 11, that's the same as playing a D11 chord, which would resolve to G. So the C 6/9 sharp 11 resolves to G as well. So let's just try it in a full chord progression. Let's take the key of G, for example. We're going to play G, C, C 6/9 sharp 11, and then back to G again. And maybe if we used some 7th chords, it would sound a little bit more appropriate. a bit more jazzy there. And we can also use, of course, our C6-9 sharp 11 as a secondary dominant kind of function. It's not exactly a secondary dominant, but we'd use it in place of a secondary dominant. So let me show you how. So we're going to be playing in the key of D for this chord progression. So we want to play a D, a G, and an A. That's a 1-4-5 in the key of D. D, G, and A. We're going to use a secondary dominant going into A. So what would the secondary dominant going into A be? That would be E. So E7 would transition very nicely into that A chord. Now, instead of E7, what could we do? We could play the 6-9 sharp 11 chord. That's a tone below our secondary dominant. So D 6-9 sharp 11 instead of our E7. And that leads very nicely into the A7 as well. Now our chord progression is D, G, D6-9 sharp 11, A7. And I'm going to spice the chords up a little bit more as well, actually. So D major 7, G major 7, D6-9 sharp 11, A7, and then back into D major 7. So that's a really nice use of the 6-9 sharp 11 chord there. The final way I'm going to show you for how we can use the 6-9 sharp 11 chord is a transition into a 5 chord. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be playing the 6-9 sharp 11 chord one semitone above the dominant that's about to be played. So in the key of G, our dominant chord is D7. So we could play an E flat 6-9 sharp 11 chord just before the D7 like that, and then it resolves back nicely on the G. So if we take a 1-4-5 in the key of G, G, C and D, just before the D7 we're going to play an E flat 6-9 sharp 11, and you can hear how it sounds. So that's quite cool. It sounds even nicer if when you go into your dominant chord, you play a dominant 7 sus4, then resolve down the 4th to the 3rd into a standard dominant 7th chord. So let me show you what I mean. Just like that. So there you have it. There's the 6-9 sharp 11 chord. I don't think there are many guitar tutorials, if there are any, on this particular chord. And it's a really underused and underutilized chord. I think it's a really cool chord. I'm definitely going to start using it a bit more often, and I hope you do too. I hope this video has inspired you. So if it has inspired you and you did enjoy the video, click like, let me know what you thought in the comments, and make sure if you haven't done so already, you subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so that every single time I release a new video, you're notified. This series is all on cool chords and what you can do with these cool chords. And if you want to dive deeper into some really awesome chord progressions and write stuff that really amazes people, then head to the description, and the first 2 chapters of my book, Chord Charisma, are available for free. What that's going to show you how to do is, once you've created a diatonic chord progression, how to add extensions to all of those chords, like 7ths, 9ths, 11ths, 13ths, to make your chords sound really spicy and make your chord progressions sound amazing. So definitely download that if you're interested, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good one.